blood to pass through. And what I'm wondering is as your blood passes through whatever, like wherever these things are, wherever this stuff has attached itself, I'm wondering if that's how it's mining the metals out. So it's grabbing it as it's coming, as the blood is being pumped through that area, it's collecting the garbage out of, well, I say garbage loosely because these are much needed minerals and vitamins to be alive, but it makes me wonder if they're not collecting it that way. So, and again, I apologize for the graphic nature of these photos. They do need to be seen though. And so one thing I'd really like to say about this photo is something that they're noticing is changing, is that those little dark pieces around the outside, they said, I believe that Mr. Hirschman has said that they're very similar to coffee grounds. And when you look at them up close, it looks like these, it looks like the beginning of these structures, to be brutally honest. It looks like miniature tiny pieces of this stuff trying to maybe either find its way or build more. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously no one is, but the speculation is quite high. The other thing is I just mentioned CRISPR, and I had a lovely lady actually from Canada that I've been emailing, and this was something interesting that I found by accident. So this article is from 23rd of June 2016, and its genetic testing has shed new light on the deaths of nearly 500 young Australians and New Zealanders who died from sudden cardiac arrest. Okay, so if that's the case, if that happened in 2016, why wouldn't they have put that into CRISPR? Why wouldn't that have been in did they take those genetics and apply it to this bioweapon? What an interesting find. I didn't even mean to find that. That was a total accident. Very interesting. The other interesting quote that I found this week that I took a screenshot of, and I've said interesting a lot, but it was very, very fascinating. So cancer was practically unknown until cowpox vaccination began to be introduced. I have seen 200 cases of cancer, and I never saw a case of cancer in an unvaccinated person. That was from January 26th, 1909, people. That was the turn of the century. They knew this. They've known this a long time. It's time to start getting angry, I think. I think it's really time to start getting angry because our kids are dying from these cancers, people. Kids' cancer all over the world is up by like astronomical levels, and they're doing it to them. And we take them into the, like I say, we loosely, but I mean, people have like just given up their ability to think and just let these people try and take care of their babies. And they're known criminals. That's like handing your baby over to a crackhead and saying, hey, can you look after my baby for an hour while I go and have some, I don't know, a massage? I don't know. That's just ridiculous, the thought of it. These people are criminals. And they've killed people, and they don't care because the fines are minimal. And the fines are minimal, and they really just want a lot of the population dead. That's the only summary that we can all come up with. I mean, again, so from the 1918 Spanish flu, a really cool documentary called End of Germ Theory. I'm not sure where I stand on the whole germ theory versus not. I think that we are led down a pathway of unknowns. I think that we're lied to on every front. But I also believe that they put a little bit of truth in there so that it's easy to take a definitive stance on anything. So I think that there is probably a sprinkle of both. I think that we are definitely misled on viruses and how they work and how amazing our bodies are at healing. And again, that's probably, and I'm not going to say probably, it's been proven that all that they want is money. And anything that they can't patent, they won't sell. And all of those things are the things that heal you, that don't cause more symptoms, which causes you to need more medication. So again, we're going to go around and around in circles if I keep talking about it, because it is literally a big merry-go-round, and until you step off, you'll probably be sick. Unfortunately, with a lot of these vaccine damages, though, we're seeing a need for these medications that's unprecedented. And again, that is more money to these people, right? That's more money to these corporations and these companies, Big Pharma, the Communist Chinese Party, who has shares in these companies. I think they've got winning shares on these companies. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to double check that, but I will. So the other thing, there's a few other things that I heard. There was so I heard Dr. Ryan Cole talking. I really, really would love to have a discussion with that man too. He's talking about aggressive cancers from these vaccines, and I had this thought. That along some part of learning, I heard on the Truth About Cancer series at some point that cancer is toxicity, right? We all kind of know that, but it just clicked this thing in my brain, and it made me wonder, because I've heard Dr. Judy Mikovits talk about serum sickness. I've also talked to Dr. Artis about it. And serum sickness seems to be related back to the whole venom and the toxicity to the heart and to the brain, right? Those are also the cancers that are skyrocketing at the moment, which is heart and brain and blood, right? So those things are symptoms of acute poisoning, right? Like whether or not it's a snake bite, or whether or not you just drank half a gallon of antifreeze, whatever it is. Those are obvious acute symptoms of poisoning. So are these cancers being diagnosed as poisoning? Are these cancers being diagnosed as such, but are they actually poisonings? Which, I guess they are, but we haven't really put those things in a sentence together. And is the CRISPR technology the piece that has made a combination of the things that we talked about? So parasites, nanotech, the venom, different aspects of different viruses, or things that we've been led to believe are viruses, gram-positive bacterias. I believe it was malaria that was mentioned. Have they taken sequences from these, like Dr. Merritt says as well, so it's like putting full stops and periods throughout a sentence and capital letters in random places? It just doesn't make sense. Are those capital letters and those periods pieces of a venom, of a parasite, of all these different things that they wanted to put together to make this? And then can it be classed then as serum sickness? I hope that made sense. It's a bit of a jumbly thought. However, again, I would really like to see if that matched up, because we're finding, I haven't found any of them. Some amazing people have, like Dr. Ariana Love, Karen Kingston, lots of other people are finding, Dr. David Martin, are finding patents in relation to all of these different aspects, and everyone's getting hung up on whether or not it's venom, or whether or not it's this, or whether or not it's nanotech or parasites, or maybe it's a combination of all of it. Maybe they've taken the genetic pieces that they want from each of those things, and they've put it together and created what we've got now in the human population, which is a pretty interesting and scary thought. So in new news, we have new abortion laws in New Zealand. Here we go. Enjoy this one, everyone.
Love you, New Zealanders that
watch.
We
love the people in New York and Seattle, too.
There she is. And she has allowed the most extreme abortion law in the world.
Jacinda
This is the
Ardern.
Prime Minister of New Zealand. Abortions will now be available on demand for any reason up to birth sex-selective abortions will be legalized, meaning if you find out you're having a boy and you want a girl, you can abort the baby. If you're having a girl and you want a boy, you can abort the baby.
It's murder.
The current 20-week limit for disability selective abortion will be scrapped, and abortion will be available up to birth for disabilities including a cleft lip, a club foot, and Down syndrome. There will be no requirement that a doctor be involved with providing an abortion. How insane. How many women are going to die from that? There will be no legal requirement that babies born alive after a failed abortion will be given medical support. There will be no legal requirement that pain relief be given to babies being aborted between 20 weeks and birth.
And they can feel pain at that time.
There will be no legal restrictions on controversial methods of abortion such as intact dilation and extraction abortions, also known as partial birth abortion. That's when you allow a baby to be partially born and then you kill it and then
I have no words for that. Every time I hear it, I'm speechless. So, ew. She is an evil, 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 sadistic woman. And apparently women are the more sadistic ones out of the two. I did jump a little bit ahead of myself. I had my videos rearranged wrong, actually. From that, I was supposed to jump into necro spider bots, but I forgot about this other documentary that I'd watched last week, which was called Quecksilber. Silver, like it's a play on words. And it's about amalgams in the mouth. So that's like the mercury fillings in your teeth. I found it really interesting because we were touching on frequencies, right? And again, the round again in the circle, the accumulation of these things in the body. It's about a 2-minute and 30-second video. It's worth the while, and I will leave a link to the full documentary. But I would really I'd like to see someone in a professional level take what this documentary is saying and apply it to what's going on with these vaccines. I say that loosely, and I don't want to call them a vaccine. I don't want to call them a gene therapy. That means it's healing. Injections. We'll call them injections because that's exactly what they are. Here, I'm going to let it play, and I would like everyone to leave some comments about what you think about the whole frequency interaction with how these things are made, possibly mining the metals out of our body to build themselves. Yeah, here we go. I'll play it and shut up.
Gold in contact with amalgam constitutes a short-circuited, permanent galvanic cell where the electrolytes are constantly renewed. The worst effects occur with root fillings using gold-plated brass screws directly in contact with amalgam and gold caps or bridges over amalgams. In the mouth, gold acts as a cathode, and the less noble metal, dental amalgam, functions as the anode, and a dissolution of the less noble metal takes place. Till and Malley report finding 200 to 300 micrograms of mercury per gram of tissue in teeth with amalgam only, but 1,200 micrograms of mercury per gram of tissue in teeth with both amalgam and gold. The levels increased with time and did not come from food. If gold and amalgam are present in the same mouth, it may increase the release of mercury by up to 4-fold from all of the filling. Amalgam fillings also act like capacitors. They store electric charge. These currents can be measured with a simple microammeter. The magnitudes of oral currents are in the same range as those induced in the tissues of a human standing directly under a high-voltage transmission line. These oral currents operate in the range of microamps. Our central nervous system operates in the range of nanoamps. This means that if you have amalgam fillings, you have a device in your mouth which is storing an electrical charge that's 1,000 times greater than the delicate nervous system which surrounds it. Voltages in the mouth